Hello, everyone. This is Stacy. Welcome to the landing.
There is something special about folks from down east. You can hear it in their voice, feel it in their stories, and see it in the way they carry a deep love for home. Today's guest is no exception. He served at Cape Lookout, but more than that, he embodies the heart of this place, strong roots, saltwater stories, and a genuine pride in where he comes from. From the moment we started talking, it was clear this was going to be a conversation worth having. His stories are rich with experience, shaped by service, and grounded in the kind of perspective you only get from living a life tied closely to our coast. I truly enjoyed meeting this man. Every minute of the conversation we had was interesting and heartfelt. I think you too will enjoy hearing his stories. And to our guest, thank you, not only for sharing your stories with us, but for your service. It means more than words can say. Please welcome another Coastie. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the landing. We have a very special guest with us here today, and I am excited to meet him and to learn more about his story. So let's jump right in, and if you will, tell us your name and who's your crowd and where you are from.
Okay, my name is James Lewis. I'm from Stacy, currently live in Beaufort. A lot of people probably knew my people. My father's name was J.T. Lewis from Stacy. My mother was Julie Lewis, all from Stacy. Now, my father was from Otway originally. Most people know his brother Donnie Lewis and Ellick Lewis and that group. It was all down east.
All down east. I love it. What was it like when you were growing up in Stacy?
Just typical growing up with the boys type deal, hunting, fishing, shrimping. It was just that was what you thought you were going to do the rest of your life type deal.
Right.
Everything was just laid back, fun. I mean, I've always been real glad I grew up in that area.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a little bit of mischief. Of course, my father, he was real strict, so I had to be very careful what I did do on some of my buddies I hung around with. But we just had a lot of fun just growing up and just being boys growing up.
Made your own fun, huh?
Yeah. It just seemed like there was always something to do around there as far as, fishing or hunting or just riding bikes or just having a good time.
Outdoors.
Yeah.
Outdoors. Now, when you were growing up in Stacy, was it heavily populated or was it not so much? Was it mostly family and?
It was mostly family then. I mean, it weren't that popular. I think the census on it's like 150 or 200, something like that. It weren't. I mean, it was all just close knit families.
Right.
Right. We used to have my grandma was Ethel Salter, and in fact, my grandfather Elmer Salter's got some decoys on display here. He was a decoy carver.
Okay.
But you had up the road and down the road Stacy, and of course, Grandma's maiden name was Fulcher, and of course we had Fulchers up the road, and she always used to say, we're not related to them Fulchers up the road. It was kind of, I think, probably a past feud in the years before I ever got here.
But that's an important distinction to make for if you're up the road or down the road.
Yeah.
I get that. I've learned that from doing this. And we're kind of like down the island. It's had the Easter and the Wester. And so we make that distinction. You have what group you're in. Yeah, I love it. So when you went to school, you went to, was it Smyrna? Where did you go?
Actually, I went, then it was Atlantic High School.
Oh, okay.
Before they merged with Beach Carteret.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was in the last group a eighth grade of the eighth grade class to graduate from high school to high school. After that, that's when East Carteret opened up.
Oh,
It was
okay.
in the first freshman class to start East Carteret,
Oh, that's neat.
and which is kind of it was kind of nice, but you had still so much rivals between Beaufort and of course down east teams, the Sea Dogs and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
and of course Atlantic Smyrna was at rivals way back when, so
Yeah.
it was kind of
Yeah.
the rivals are still there. It took I think a few years probably to get that out of there.
That's interesting because I've often wondered about that. Because when I went to East Carteret, I mean, you knew that was where you're going to end up, and it wasn't a big deal. But it had to be. I mean, for you to all of a sudden be thrown together with, and now on the same team, same side.
It was kind of it was a big change when you're so used to everybody you knew, and then all of a sudden you were kind of thrown in with everybody that you didn't know.
Everybody you didn't know, for sure. Yeah.
Of course, I did have my cousins and stuff was living in Beaufort, so I knew them. But what was ironic about it, the rivals, I reckon, over the years so bad that even though you knew them, and my first cousins, when you see them in East Carteret, they would like turn your head like, I don't know you, don't talk to me. I'm so it's kind of crazy like that.
I mean, really, when you look back at it, it is crazy, but it was a real thing.
Oh yes, it was. Yes,
it was a tangible feeling that was mutual. Yeah. So when you were in school, did you play sports? Did you do extracurricular anything, or were you working?
My father always wanted to play basketball. I'm not a basketball player. I never did really care for it. So Atlantic didn't have a football team, and when we went to East Carteret, of course, they had football. So I was interested in football. Started playing some football, but it was different because down home, when you play football, it was just you get a ball and you go, choose your team up. There weren't no rules, you just you'd get in half a dozen fights before you got finished. But when I started that, and it was an organized thing, it was something I had to get used to for a while. But I enjoyed it. The coach we had, I didn't enjoy him too much. I still remember him as being, and probably most of it went school when I did or whatever remembers Tracy Bass.
Gotcha. So did you play football the whole time?
No, I played my first 2 years. No, first year was JV, and I did play my 1 year of varsity.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, did you always have work on the water? Was that what your job was outside pretty much?
Well, I used to on summers. My father had a small shrimp boat, and I'd work that and everything. And then it was just one night I was out there, and it was a little bit rough, but I was working, and then I got thinking to myself, I said, James, this is not what you're going to be doing the rest of your life.
Right.
I think even though I grew up down east, I think the water just weren't in me down for working water. I just weren't. In fact, my father often would say every once in a while, so I'm not sure you're my boy or not because you just don't like the water and the stuff like this. But I do that, earn quarter money to mess around with.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So when you graduated, what led to your path to the Coast Guard?
Well, the funny thing about even in high school, even in 8th grade, teacher would ask, what do you think you want to do as far as, because then when we were going to East Carteret, or we're going to start East Carteret, they give you a long list of what courses you'd like to take and all this. And she asked me, what do you think you want to do? I said, well, I'm going to service. I thought the Air Force.
So you knew that all along that you wanted, okay.
And she said, well, you probably need to take this check off Spanish and all this stuff and whatever, and because he might go over there and all this stuff. That was a wrong move. That was not good. But anyway, when I graduated, I decided I was going to go in the Coast Guard because I'd gone and took, I reckon it's called ASVAB now, but it's like I call it aptitude test then.
Yes, yep.
And I'd completed that. Well, I was going to go in and just tell a recruiter, listen, this is right after I graduated. I was going to go in and tell the recruiter I want to go in August. And could he arrange that? But of course, when I walked in, and you all know both of them, Anthony Nelson and Randy Grady was sitting in there.
Oh, yeah.
And Anthony looked at me and said, I think we don't even graduate like 3 days.
Oh, wow.
I think something like that. And Anthony says, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting the Coast Guard, but I'm not going to go into, I'm going to tell him I'm going to go into August. He says, no, come go with us. I said, when you going? He said, well, in about 2 days. I
said, no way.
I said, I'm gonna go and spend some time over the beach, the pavilion, the Embers Club, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy my summer. No, come on, well, you can do that when we come back, that type deal. And the recruiter looked at me then and said, well, yeah, all 3 you go in the buddy system. I said, well, I don't, he said, yeah, come on. Anthony actually talked me into it. He really
my
did.
word.
And I said, well, okay, yeah, well, I'll go with you, like that there. And like I said, we only been graduated 2 or 3 days. And Mama wanted me to go to, well, then it's called Carteret Tech, but to go and take that marine diesel course. Mm-hmm. And when I went home, Mama says, I'm going to Coast Guard. She said, when you going? I said, well, so I'm going in about 2 days. And she started bawling.
Goodness.
No, you can't go. And all
that
that stuff.
Mama's heart was ripped out.
Oh, yeah. I was the only child.
Oh, my gosh. So you had already done the paperwork.
Yeah, we'd already signed and everything. I mean, it was.
Oh, my gosh.
And she was, and my grandmama, who thought I walked on water. I mean, I was her apple of her eye. When she told her, I thought she was going to have a heart attack.
So did you ever think during those 2 days, I've really done the wrong thing? Or did you think, I better get out of here?
At first, in school, you're always saying, I can't wait to get out of Carteret County. I want to get out of Carteret County. Yep. Well, I was kind of a little bit joyous about it, because I was going with somebody I knew.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that we had to meet I actually went on a bus there to in Beaufort, down where the street was anyway, down by Cedar Street, or somewhere in there where the bus station was at. In fact, I think it's where that Beaufort Grocery Restaurant's at. It's right in there.
Oh, okay.
And we got on a Trailways bus there, and well, of course, Anthony, Randy, himself, and I think we were supposed to pick up a guy from South Carolina or whatever it was, but we got going by Newport. And I saw leaving Carteret County, my heart dropped. I think a few tears coming out of my eyes, and of course Anthony and Randy made fun of me the whole way to Cape May.
No way, not them.
And more Anthony, of course.
Of course it was. I didn't know that. Anthony, I hope you hear this.
But we got at and I'm sure Anthony remember it, but we got at the Jester Restaurant. I'll never forget the restaurant. That's where we got off at the bus that brought us out to Cape May. And I went around to Anthony. I said, Anthony, how much money you got on you? He said, well, of course, the recruiter gave us chits that we could eat with on the way. Right. He said, take no more than $5 with you. He said, well, I got a few dollars on me. And I went, Randy, how much money you got? And I went to that guy, I think South Carolina, wherever, Charlotte or somewhere. But I asked him. He said, James, what do you want? What do you want money for? We're going to go, on the thing. I said, well, I look at it. If I can get enough money, I'm going to give me a bus back card at the station. Anthony said, no, you can't. You can't go back to the station. They'll come get you. I said, you're going to have to find me. And of course, we went on in training.
Oh, wow.
And what was crazy about it, we were on the buddy system, right? So we go in what they call a forming company before you actually start training. And the first thing they took me a week behind because they had to do a dental hold. Anthony and Randy went ahead. So there I was. I can't do it. I'm on a buddy system. They said, no, you ain't not here.
Oh, my goodness. So you were separated.
And separated right beginning. That didn't help me any.
No.
And as homesick as I was.
Yeah.
But it was kind of crazy. I mean, in fact, the first day we were in the forming company, they come and got me and Anthony and Randy and told us to go down. We were on like the 3rd floor and come down on the main, called the main deck. And gosh, I cannot think of his from Arkansas. He was Hancock. I can't think what his I think his wife. Bill. Yeah, Bill Hancock. Yep. Yeah. And of course he knew Andy and Randy. He didn't really know me. Yeah. But we went down there and they were, all talking stuff and whatever. And we didn't even start training yet.
Oh, wow.
And when I went back up, I remember telling Anthony, I said, yeah, so you're going to be a lifer in this out in the Coast Guard, ain't you, like that? Oh, yeah, like that. But anyway, we went on
that's
through
neat.
the training. And it just so happened what was fun, really funny about it, it just so happened the company, which I'm blessed on that, the company that I got into, it was three companies at the same time. It was called Echo, Foxtrot, and Golf. I was in Foxtrot. Golf, Bill was in. He was the company commander. He was the boot pusher in it.
Yeah.
And my mother, who knew his wife, well, it's crazy. She kind of called her and told her that I'd gone in the Coast Guard, and if she could tell Bill to keep an eye on me.
Oh, I love that. That's such a mama move right there. I love
And
it.
of course, I was not in that company. I
Yeah.
was in the sister company, Foxtrot. And it just so happened, Daddy, who, like I said, my way, he had a nice garden that way. He grew the best watermelons you ever tasted. And he had told, Mama had told his wife, listen, when we come down for, I think, the fifth or sixth weekend, parents could have like that Saturday night and go out.
Right.
But he said, well, I'll bring you some watermelons. When I didn't know none of this. I mean, it was like total blank. I didn't know what was going on.
Because you don't communicate with
No,
home.
no.
Yeah.
So I was totally blind to it. And Bill told my company commander, which is BMC Kathy, had told him that they had talked and all this stuff. Well, again, I know nothing about going on. Well, when we first got in the company and we were all in there, and chief brought his desk in there and started telling us what he's going to do and what we're going to do and all that stuff. And when he first starts out, he says, I need to see me a Lewis in here right now. Well, I didn't know Kathy's met. Tell you what, I just sat there. I didn't, say nothing. And he says, I know it's a Lewis in my company, and I better see his hand or him raise up right now. If it don't, that is like a quarter-mile thing out there we had to run. He says, you're going to be running that until you fall, that type deal. Ooh. And I'm sitting, I said, well, I want to stand up, I was kind of worried. So I stood up, and he point blank looked at me. He said, listen, when your parents come here on that weekend, he says, if you make it that far, he says, I want me a watermelon. I love watermelons. And I'm sitting there, literally.
Like, how does he know this?
I am totally blank. This is, so I sit back down, Well, it just so happened that weekend that we got a chance to go out, and everything was that Monday morning. We get in formation, and I'm the number 3 squad leader. And he says, he gets all the company in there. He says, Lewis front center. And I jump right there. He says, you know something? He says, our sister company commander, he said them watermelons he got was delicious. And I'm thinking, man, this is crazy. He said, and he looked at the rest of it, he said, but you know something? Your company commander, how do you put it? Somebody, your company commander didn't get a watermelon, and I love watermelons like that there. And he told me, he said, Kathy was what, 6'3" or 4? He was a big man, Kathy was. And he says, okay, Lewis, I want you down there on all fours. Well, I got in the push-up position. He said, no, I want you down there like a dog. And I'm thinking, this is not going good.
Oh my goodness.
And he sat down on me like a chair and crossed his legs. And I'm sitting there like this here. And he tells the rest of the company to start running because he didn't get any watermelon. And I'm thinking, oh, come on, really?
Right. You didn't have anything to do with it.
I did not have anything.
So Bill got a watermelon.
Yeah, he got
Kathy
a watermelon.
did not.
Yeah, he didn't get it.
Oh, well, see, that was Bill's fault. He didn't share.
Yeah, well,
right?
I know. It was
I love it.
And the rest of the company was upset at me because they had to run a couple of laps, because I'm saying, I have nothing to do with it. I don't know what you're talking about. So it was kind of crazy, but it was.
Oh man!
It was kind of. In fact, I'm still in contact with one of my number 2 squad leader. We communicate. He's in Maryland.
Oh wow, that's neat.
He was still communicating stuff, but it was kind of a crazy time. Of course, after we finished training, I come home. I come home. I had 10 days leave, or whatever it was, and they say your orders will come in the mail. Well, it's about the 8th day or something like that.
So when you left, you didn't know where you were going.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
And about the 8th day, I still had not received any mail. I'm saying about where I'm going. And I just happened to go to check the mail that day, and sure enough, my orders was in there. And it was on a Saturday. And I opened them up, and it said Curtis Bay, Baltimore, Maryland. And I said, I don't want to go to Maryland. I was devastated. And Sunday morning, there's a guy that lived in Stacy, a doily Fulcher. He retired out of the Coast Guard. And my father went and asked him about it. I said, the doily, where's this Curtis Bay? There's a Coast Guard cutter, Mendota. And he said, oh, no, Mendoza's out of Wilmington. She must be up there in the shipyard. Like that there. That helped me feel better.
Yes.
So I was put on that ship, and it was kind of ironic because I had put in for engine school in boot camp, and I didn't get it because the school wasn't available at the time. It was about 3 or 4 months, which I didn't know that then. And when I went on to Mendota, which was a nice ship, had a good crew on it, and I got stuck striking boiler tender, which is not a good one. But in fact, my chief was from Otway, Chief Parnell, lived down on Crow Hill Road.
Yes, I knew his daughter. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was my chief, and it just so happened anybody he could get as a striking boiler tender, he would grab. Well, I've been on about 3 months, I think, and I got a call to the engineer officer stateroom, which I didn't want to be around officers. I was just a little fella.
Yeah.
And chief was in there, and the officer looked at Parnell. He says, I see right here, Lewis has got orders for engine school. He says, look at Parnell. Of course, I won't use the terms of words that he used.
Right.
Fussed at him about signing my chip to go to engine school. I said, I don't know what he's talking about. I didn't sign nothing for him to go to engine school. And he said, well, how'd you get it? I said, sir, I don't know. I said, I just orders, like that. And because I forgot about putting in for it at boot camp.
Right.
And of course, the chief and the engineer officer kind of went back and forth because the engineer officer was right upset that I was leaving.
Right.
And Parnell said, well, I don't know. Says his father, I think he knows some probably, well, I think that was old man Walter B. Walter B. Jones and all this. I think he knows all that. He's probably got some connection. They probably got him off that ship, all that stuff, whatever. Again, I'm a total blank. I don't know what they're talking about. All I knew I was getting off.
Yeah.
I was going to engine school.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. I mean, it was just stuff like that would go on. And
so you went to engine school, which is cool because you said you wanted to be an engineer. So
it worked out pretty good. I mean, I had probably too much fun in engine school, I reckon, because in fact, my uncle he was stationed in the Army at Fort Eustis, so I would go back and forth to his house a lot and everything, and that's when I was young and crazy and whatever, and party and stuff and all this mess, but it was, engine school, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
How long was that?
That was sick. In fact, we were the last class to go 16 weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In the engine school.
So when you left there, where did you go?
Well, the funny thing, when I left the Mendota, which was in Wilmington, she got out of the dry dock. I said, bye, Wilmington, I won't see you no more. Turn right around and come back to McCulloch, which was a sister ship in Wilmington.
Yeah.
I went out to engine school. And of course, in fact, Anthony and Randy was on that ship.
Oh, were they? Oh, wow. Wow. So you were with them.
Yeah, it was... It was now actually I enjoyed the Mendota, in fact, a lot better. A smaller crew, but McCulloch, the engineer crew was pretty good. I mean, unfortunately, when I first went on there, it's ironic how everything fell together about people that right in this area that I got hung up with. Was good.
Yeah, that's right. We would say, yeah.
When I first went on her, I put my sea bag down on the table and getting introduced to a few of the guys, and here come Chief Fulcher, Wesley Gordon Fulcher from Stacy.
Oh my goodness.
He was the chief in B2 engine room. He come right on through, grabbed me. I said, come on, you're down in B2 engine room right now.
Oh, wow. But that had to be a good feeling, though, to see a familiar face or hear the familiar brogue. Well,
yes and no.
Yes and no?
It was, me and, maybe it's we were kin, because I found out later through grandmama, we were kin. But we we kind of bucked heads a lot.
Did you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was it's a wonder I didn't get court-martialed sometimes with Fulcher, but I had a first-class midget on there, a great guy. He kind of saved me a lot.
Yeah, he was a buffer between.
Yeah, he kind of kept me at check, so
Love
that
it.
was how. But yeah, me and Chief Fulcher didn't get along very well.
Well, and that's close quarters too, and that's the case. So, how long were you there in Wilmington the second time?
I was on her from 71, 72. In fact, I was on her when she got decommissioned. They were sending her. Well, they were giving her the Vietnam Navy.
Oh, okay.
And,
oh, wow.
In fact, funny thing, Wesley Gordon come to me. He says, so you're getting off this thing. So I'll tell you what, I need a skeleton crew to go with me with the reserves to take her to Vietnam, or actually Hawaii. I said, Chief, don't take it wrong. It ain't no way that I'm going with some reserves and you in charge all the way from here to Hawaii on this thing.
Yeah, no thank you.
Ain't no way.
No.
He said, well, where'd you get? I says, keep lookout.
Ooh.
He said, how'd you swing that? I says, I don't know, but I ain't changing it.
No. So that's when you came over to the Cape.
Yeah, because they asked, well, when they were decommissioned, they give you the dream sheet. Where do you want to go? I said, I'm going to Fort Macon. And the guy said, well, you want to go group Fort Macon or Fort Macon? I said, what do you mean? He
What's
said, well,
the difference?
If you group Fort Macon was like Rifle Beach, Hoboken, Fort Macon.
Okay.
I forgot the other one was. Anyway, and when he said Cape Lookout, I said, that's the one.
Yes. Okay.
And that's how I got it. I mean, it was just so happened that
Wow.
if it hadn't, I'd probably still be on that ship, probably.
True.
But yeah, that's how I got it, was Cape Lookout.
So how good did it feel when you first went over to the Cape? That you were home again, huh?
Oh, I loved it. I was, but Sharp from Betty, he was the exec officer, so to speak. And Russell Gaskell was Chief Gaskell was the officer in charge. And when I went over, I put everything up, and it was on a Friday. Yeah, it was on Thursday or Friday. And Sharp said, listen, Russell, let him go on this weekend. Let him go on back home this weekend. I want him in my duty section. And Russell, okay, ain't no problem. So I did and everything. Well, come Monday morning, we met right over here at Harkers Marina. That's where it docked at. And of course, remember the restaurant that used to be to the end of the show in here? Well, they got a message to the Cape for Russell when he come in Monday morning, first thing to call Fort Macon. And we were sitting there in the boat ready for him to come back. And Russell Ware called, he come back. He said, well, James, come over, or Lewis, come here a minute. He says, I sit down in the car, I got to talk to you. And of course, my mother and my grandmother and somebody else, they were supposed to go to New Bern that morning shopping or whatever. So the first thing I thought, I said, oh my gosh, something's happened. I mean, my heart dropped. He says, you know where you're supposed to be this morning? I said, Chief, I'm supposed to be here. I was, going to be in the next duty section. He said, no. He said, Fort Macon sent a message, and this was Monday morning, about 8:30, 9 o'clock now. He says, you were the boat supposed to be in Governor's Island, New York this morning at 8 o'clock. Start Eggs Navigation School. I said, what? And I'm thinking, well, almost as bad as I was the accident that I had to go to New York.
Totally different, yeah.
He says, he sent somebody to go get me some clothes and whatever, and then sent the boat over to get my sea bag and all this to bring it back so we could hurry and get on a plane in New Bern, Piedmont Airline.
Good gracious.
And head to New York, well, that day. And when I went to Fort Macon to get my orders, the guy, the yeoman, I think his name was Lewis too, anyway. But he looked at me, he says, it's about time they give somebody these orders. We have sitting here on this desk waiting for 2 weeks to give them somebody. I said, yeah, and I suckered with them. And,
so you had to go to New York.
Yeah, that morning. And the yeoman, now listen, I hadn't really, until I went to Cape May, I hadn't really been past Raleigh as far as traveling.
Right.
And the guy and the yeoman looked at me and said, listen, I've been to Governor's Island. So this is what you do now. When you get off at the Newark airport, get a bus and go and take the whatever bus. He was talking all that stuff. And just want to talk foreign language. I didn't know why he was talking about getting this bus and going here and going there. and all this stuff. And I was trying to take it all in. And it so happened that when I finally got to Newark, New Jersey airport, when I went out, everything was on strike. The buses, everything. So I had the taxis pull up and grab you and throw you right in taxi and take off and ask you where you want to go. I said, I'm supposed to get some ferry to go to the island of New York. I don't know, like that there. And I think he took me all around, and being kind of naive and stupid, all the same thing. He says, I said, what's the fee? He said, how much money you got? And stupid again, I said, well, I think I had like $50 or something like that. He said, yes, that's just right, $45 what the fee is. And this is like in, what, 70?
Oh my
72?
goodness.
And I think it was just right across, I reckon, right across the river.
You gave him a big tip.
Yeah, I reckon. And of course, that was a good school. I mean, it was.
How long was that?
That was 6 weeks.
Oh my goodness. So after that, did you finally get the Cape Lookout?
Yeah, I finally got the Cape Lookout. And that's
Jeez.
and that's when they Chief called me and his dad said, well, so you've been to school now. You're in charge of all the aides we got, including the lighthouse.
Oh, wow.
And I said, in charge of the lighthouse? What are you talking?
Wow.
And I had to, from there on, I was part of maintaining it and all that stuff and whatever, make sure it come on, which it did. But, and then checking make sure all the lights, one went out, you run to it and all that stuff. And it was really, Cape was real nice. I enjoyed the Cape. Of course, everybody in the crew there was from basically Carter County. I had Anthony and Randy. Leland I think Leland come later, I believe. Yeah, Leland Young was. Was Paul Daniels from Cedar Island. Robert Nelson from Atlantic. Wow. And always, and the two of the other guys, we called him Peanut. He was from Newbern. And then we got Turnit. I don't know if you got a hold of Turnit or not. He was from Pamlico County. But we had one guy from Montana. That was Hilo. And our cook was from Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pennsylvania. Garcia, I think his name was. So basically all of us was local guys.
Which is amazing to me. I mean, how awesome would it be to be in the Coast Guard but be in your backyard?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
It was a lot of fun. I'd always, when you mentioned Farmer a little earlier, here he is.
No, he's not here yet.
Because if he walked in, I'm sure he'd give me extra hours because he kept Miller on extra hours, and I always blamed Anthony for that. Every time I got around Anthony, I got in trouble.
Well, yeah, I could believe that. Anthony, he's fun, but he could, get you in trouble.
I would always get in kind of extra hour
for something with him.
Farmer's pretty well.
Yeah.
On me all the time a lot. Paul Daniels, God bless him, he's passed away now, but he kind of keep me out of harm's way with Chief.
I love it.
And everything. But
what kind of duties did you have over at the Cape? You mentioned, of course, maintaining the lighthouse, but what did that entail?
Plus, I was an engineer on duty as far as, we had, of course, I wasn't we had a first class engineer that was over us, but when we had the duty section or whatever, I'd have an engineer for the duty on that particular evening or that weekend. Because most of the time we'd run every other weekend and every other day, or every other week as what I'd call port and starboard type duty.
Okay.
And like that, and just maintaining engineer spaces with it's me and Turnage and a Peanut, and we all kind of kept things going, so to speak.
Yeah.
And all that. Because at one time with Farmer, I don't know if Farmer will remember it or not. He ought to, because I got him to turn different shades of red that day. But I do remember it. So to say, they were having a district inspection where the officers come in, they do all the drills and make sure everything's right and all that stuff. And that morning, of course, I got stuck with it that weekend. They were coming in Monday morning. So that Sunday morning, before he took the boat over, I went and started the main fire pump we had for the fire system, and it started. I mean, it run, primed up, charged, water and all this mess. Got the boat, got chief and everything. We come on back to Cape, and of course, here come all the, I call them officers from Fort Macon, the inspectors, and they were doing all the drills. And of course, they pulled the fire alarm and said, we have a fire, and my station was the pump. So I go to the pump here, for a farmer standing there with an officer, and I went to hit the button to start it, and all she did was right there. And of course, instinctively, I just run to the garage and get the battery and come back and jump the battery on it, and she starts right up. And he of course all that specter right on the pad. And of course, here farmer, I knew I had it because he was starting to turn different shades of red. And of course, he said, okay, you secured it and all that stuff, and I did. And he said, well, Lewis did pump gun good and everything. He says, but you had a problem at first. And I said, yes, sir. He says, well, I noticed you did okay. You got the battery started up. He said, but I got to ask you a question. Where did you get the battery? And I said, well, sir, I got it from the garage. He said, yeah, but says, where was the fire at? I knew right then. I said, sir, I was in the garage. He said, what part of the garage you get out of? I said, it doesn't matter right now, does it, sir?
No, you went into a burning building to get the.
And I mean, the chief's hat, you can see steam come up.
Yeah.
I was, oh man, I ain't gonna never leave Cape again. I know I'm not. Yeah, needless to say, I did get some extra time to the Cape on my off time.
On your off time.
Yeah, but that I did, and yeah, that didn't go well that day.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, the officer he kind of smiled, but he kind of
Yeah.
took it like it was, He kind of smiled a little bit, and after they left, she said, I want you to see my desk right now.
You're like, oh no.
He said, I thought I told you to start. I said, Chief, I started that this morning. I said, that thing started and run. You're lying to me. You ain't started that. You ain't no more started that. I mean, he went on.
Yeah.
So help me as God my witness.
You had done it.
I did start.
I'd done it.
But yeah, it was, I think that's about of all times I kind of got Chief upset, I think that was about the worst one.
And again, in your defense, that was out of your control too, because it did work when you checked it.
And like I say, he'll probably tell you this day is, you didn't start that pump that morning, like before you come and got us, that type of deal. But
you did. So, how much longer were you in the Coast Guard after being out the Cape?
Well, I got out and I was in reserves a couple of years. I did come back in 75 for my 2-week reserve time there. And I think that was actually the time they were taking the lens out, I believe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Seemed like me that, I think that was when they were taking and changing that lens over or taking it out.
Yeah.
Which has always been a sore point to me, I think.
I know.
That lens should have stayed here in Carter County, but anyway.
Yeah, I know, but they didn't ask us, did they?
No, I did want to give me a piece of that lens, though, but...
Yeah, I know it. Well, is there anything that we haven't touched on that you would like to share?
No, it's just, like I said, just a lot of old sea stories. I reckon if Anthony and Chief and all them was here, we could probably be here until next week telling them. I reckon.
It would be fun to hear y'all to reminisce together.
Might not have been good, but because like I said, Anthony, me and Anthony we were close friends. We still are today.
Yeah.
And it seemed like me everywhere. Like anytime I got in trouble, Anthony was around somewhere.
That's right. Well, we know, folks, he's not here to defend himself, but he had to work today. But he is going to be coming soon. So I will make sure that I address that with him. But I know he'll laugh and not deny it.
We had a good time. We really did. It was a lot of fun because I do remember one time he's a navigation person when the light. A ship had reported a boat had by one of the buoys. Well, we didn't really tend the buoys because they had the buoy tender to that. But we could do we could hot pack them until they could get to it, which was like 2 big 6-volt battery or whatever batteries it was. And we go ahead and just hook that to it for it to work. And it was a beautiful day. I mean, I had just a little swell. A beautiful day. And we went on out there, and I get up in that buoy, and she's doing this number and this number. And every time she do this number, my stomach stayed in this number. And I knew, I said, this is not going good. Because I'd been seasick on the ship. But but now when I get down back on our 30-footer, I was fine. You know, I'd sit there and I had to go back up again. So it was kind of.
Yeah. Seasickness is a terrible sickness.
Yeah, I did that on McCulloch. That wasn't.
It's not fun.
Because that's on the first patrol I went on out. I think it was a Charlie patrol up north. But my father told me, you know, he dropped me off. He said, listen, you're a Corps Sounder. Corps Sounder don't get seasick. You've been on this water all your life. Now you don't get seasick.
Yes, we do.
And they're off of, well, they weren't in the North Atlantic, but down from, I think it was off of Newfoundland, I believe. But we hit some bad times in it. And I'm telling you, I got back home, I told Dad, I said, Daddy, don't believe that. He said, what do you mean? I said, I got seasick.
Oh, yeah. Turned green around the gills. Yes.
But it was, I don't know, Cape was just, it was good, I reckon. We did have a good crew.
Yeah, for sure. That made a big difference.
And we used to say it was haunted, too. I mean, that was another. And to this day, well, maybe I was dreaming, but in the day room, we watched TV. We were sitting there one night watching TV, and the window to the side, I declare, it ain't a sea story. I mean, yes, some people say, hey, you're nuts. But I declare I saw a white figure there.
Oh, wow.
And I was told, I don't know who's in the day room with him, maybe Anthony and them. But I said, man, somebody's outside the window. So we went around there to look, weren't no footprints, just hand or nothing. And they I tell you this day, I was nuts.
They gave you a hard time again.
Oh, yeah. Well, we always used to say it was haunted.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as that goes. But,
oh, yeah. I've heard that too.
So,
Which, I mean, a whole lot of life was lost over there. Lived and lost.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And the time that you were always putting your main light on, which you knew the light was on because them generators, every time the light would come on, the generator would bog down a little bit. So you was working. And one evening, it didn't come on like it's supposed to. And of course, I was over there on duty, I went down to the lighthouse.
You went down there.
Yeah, but I went to check. I checked the fuse box and all that, and I said, "Oh man, the fuses are okay." And I had my Simpson meter and all this crap. And of course, they had to put out a notice to mariners, all that stuff,
right,
big thing, and all this, and called Fort Macon for electrician, and I don't. It may not. I don't know. Maybe in JD. I can't remember. Anyway, they called electrician come there. Of course, farmer. He had to work because it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And we all meet everybody, and we're going to the lighthouse, and I checked them fuses, and them fuses worked. My meter was showing they were good. That electrician went there and put his meter on that and saw I think 3 or 4 fuses in his big fuses. He put it on that, and the fuse was out. He took a fuse, put a fuse in, and started working. There I go again.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Well, I bet you were at the point where you checked and double checked and triple checked before you reported anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway,
yeah. No, that's funny.
That's just some crazy stuff that like I said, a lot of it I got myself into.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Okay, yeah, I mentioned that my boy was in the Coast Guard also, stationed on Alex Haley and Riceville Beach. And my granddaughter is actually supposed to report March the 3rd in Cape May for the Coast Guard.
Wow.
So, and plus I had an uncle back in the 60s, Donnie Lewis, was also, in fact, stationed at Cape.
Oh, he was stationed at the Cape too. Wow. Yeah. So a lot of history with the Coast Guard in your family.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, that's special. And it's going to be neat to you, I would think, for you to hear how much Cape May has changed over the years. Yeah. I'm sure you saw that even with your son.
I'm sure well, unfortunately, my boy, he got out of the Navy, and when he went back in the Coast Guard, the Navy recruit or the Coast Guard recruiter said, you don't need to go to Cape May because you already got basically the same training in the Navy. So and what was funny is when we talked to him about going back in the Coast Guard, I told him, I said, yeah, I said, buddy, you love small boats, and he handled a boat beautifully. And I said, you enjoy the Coast Guard. And when he joined up, they sent him to Kodak, Alaska on that ship, the Alex Haley.
Not a small little boat.
No.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today, and thank you for your service. We appreciate all that you did on our behalf. So thank you for that. But you're welcome back anytime.
Well, thank you.
And it was great meeting you.
Yeah, you can get us back with Anthony, the chief, and all of them. And of course, you better plan for a lunch or whatever. But
well, yeah, it'll be. That's right. But that would be a fun conversation.
Yeah, it might not be. I don't know.
I love it.
Okay, well,
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us to The Landing. This podcast is brought to you by the Core Sound Waterfowl Museum and Heritage Center. Tune in next week as we continue learning, sharing, and remembering together. If you'd like to hear more, check out our previous episodes where you get your podcasts. If you or someone you know is interested in being on The Landing, please reach out through the link in the description. Until then, stay safe and be kind.